Hi, I'm Chris Lawrence and I'm a professional rugby league player for the West Tigers.
Hitting Lawrence! What a beautiful ball! Lawrence! Chris Lawrence! A Tiger through and through!
I've played over 220 first grade games over the past 13 seasons, and I'm also the director of One More Being alongside Leon Keir. Yeah, so I think this period in my footy career, I'm glad I went through everything, all that sort of roller coaster. From the highs of winning my first game and having to deal with the media and the going through my try HSC, even the next couple of games, the lows of getting flogged by Melbourne and brought back down to reality, footy wise, and just having to deal with it all. Was really good. I think it shaped me, particularly learning to separate what happens, on the field and focusing on things off the field and how that can help you. I really found, and through having good people around me, by focusing, on my HSC at the time, really took my mind away from the footy side of things. When we were having a loss or the media attention, I could just focus on footy. I was focused on my studies. I didn't have to worry about that stuff, and I really took that with me to throughout my footy career. That if I have something to focus on, if it's not just all footy, I can really step outside and away from that. And I really feel those things and those values that I learned early on in my career have definitely helped me to not only be a better footy player, but have helped me to be a better person and allowed me to have such a long career in the NRL. It was working really hard with my HSC. When I started year 7, you go through what you want to do for your electives, and going through, I always had my interests in what subjects I like, but I never really had a really good idea of, okay, I want to do this or that, or this is what I want to do when I finish school, until probably year 10 or 11, and I got to trial a few different subjects, and the things that I really were passionate about and I enjoyed doing was PE and the health and fitness type things, and business as well, the business side of things. I really thought I would go down those two lines. I wasn't sure which side of things I would go down, and even before I got the opportunity to play and sign a contract and sign a full-time deal, I decided that I wanted to do an exercise and sports science degree, so go down the health and fitness industry side of things, and whether that was to go on and do physio or use it for exercise rehab, I wasn't sure. But throughout year 10 and 11, I was tossing up which sort of side of things I would go down, and decided to go down that side. And looking back at it now, would I have done anything different? Possibly. I possibly would have gone straight into the business side of things, which is what I'm doing now. But I suppose I don't regret anything, because it's given me the experience and I've learned plenty from it. I get asked a bit, how I fit it all in when I was in high school, playing first grade, going to school, studying, and how that sort of all worked. To be honest, leading up to playing first grade, when I was playing reserve grade, obviously the training demands are pretty high, still training through 4 days a week. So because I was really passionate about my studies, I knew if I had a free period throughout the day, I just had to get as much work or as much of my sort of homework assignments done in that time. So I'd just put my head down and work as hard as I could, and then I knew once I finished school, I went straight to the library, because the library was only about a couple of minutes from where we trained at. So I knew if I spent 2 hours straight after school at the library, I could go straight to footy, and then after footy I could come home and relax, because I didn't want to do any work once I come home from footy. And I used to go with a few mates and to the library who wanted to study, but because they had the luxury of having plenty of time, they would muck around. But I sort of just had to take myself away from that, go put myself in a room, because I knew if I didn't get the work done in this 2 hours, that I'd have to come home after training when I was tired and get it done. So I think that just forced me to get it done in that time and train, come home and watch TV. And I suppose I just got it in a routine and in doing that. And when I started playing first grade, that was a bit of a juggling act, because obviously I was still at school and still doing my HSC, but the fact it was coming towards the back end of the year, I would, and most of the work was done, I would go to training on the days I needed to, and just made sure I caught up on all the work I missed in those days. And I suppose I just got in a routine of knowing I had to get the work done, so just sat down and got it done when I needed to, so that I wouldn't have to come back after training and do it.
Do you remember how much you got paid for your first game?
First paycheck, I can't remember how much. It was on, I was still on, because I had to sign straight away before I'd even played my first game. I basically signed for 3 years at, it was the apprentice wages back then, where it was just wasn't even a full-time deal with match payments. So I can't remember what the match payments were, but I remember getting paid the match payments from the rest of the year, and then my dad saying to me, "No, you got to save that, and I'm going to invest that." So I waited until I had a few more match payments the following year, invested that, and then invested that in shares, and that all went. So good time to invest in the global financial crisis. So timing wasn't great. So my first Mad Monday, I was still in high school, only 17 years old. We finished our last game at I think it was Leichhardt. We played South from memory, and I remember the boys saying, "Oh, we're going out after you come," and I'm saying, "Yeah, I'm coming," but went straight home. I was a shy young kid and still didn't feel part of the team. I mean, I didn't have a pre-season. I only played 5 games, so I just didn't feel part of the team yet. Even though the guys were so welcoming, I think you've sort of got to earn your stripes a bit more, and that's my feelings. And I remember the next day, the Monday, I was at school, and then one of the sports coordinators or principals came up to me and just said, "Oh, we just had an interesting phone call." I said, "Oh, what?" They said, "Oh, apparently it's from Tim Sheens, but it sounded like maybe Brett Hodgson or one of the boys." I said, "Oh, really? What did they say?" And they said that they needed to speak with Chris Lawrence because Tim, there was an urgent training session that he was required at, and the sports coordinator said, "Oh, where's this session at?" And they said, "Concord Pub. He's got to be there by 12 o'clock, otherwise there's penalties." It was nice of them to try and include me. I somehow dodged all those penalties of Mad Monday, but I definitely didn't miss the next one.